Okay, so digital media basics, we still got a few things to cover. And it is kind of easier sometimes to inject that stuff when we're talking about Photoshop or in relation to some kind of little project that we're doing, okay? So I'll try to do that, but there are a few things still to cover about that apply to any project that we would do with digital data, okay, for media, particularly for media, because they tend to be large files sometimes. Okay, so we are going to talk about compression a little bit later today. Okay, so first though, I'm going to go over and do just a little review of what we did Thursday in our class, and what we're talking about here. You know, we've been talking about base number systems, and we'll certainly go back and do a little bit of binary, because I think that'll probably be on at least on one test and maybe the final. You know, binary is a number system. It's a base 2 number system. Okay, we know that. Base 2. But what we did Thursday was talk just a little bit about a base 16, which is called hexadecimal. Okay, and that is a little different. Okay, it's still the same idea that you've got a different base and you've got placeholders that contain a different amount of numbers in it, amount of digits. But base 16 is kind of weird because we don't have 16 digits. Okay, so what we're going to do to achieve that is, of course, we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then from there, that's our basic 10 digits. We need 6 more digits. Now, we don't just make up, 6 symbols. We just generally use the letters, the first 6 letters, okay? And that gives us 16 digits, okay? So this is almost, the main place that we use this, and I'm sure there are others, but the main place that I run into it is with color. Electronic color, and specifically the RGB color model, which is an electronic or a light color model. It's made with light waves. Okay, there are 2 color models mainly that we deal with in the media world. One is RGB, red, green, and blue. Okay, and those are light colors, and we also deal with the CMYK ink colors, and there are 4 colors: cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. Okay, and cyan is a light blue, magenta is kind of a pinkish red color, yellow is yellow, and black is black. Okay, these 4 colors together will achieve printed material like what is in this book, or like the cover of this book. That's full color. That's printed with CMYK, the CMYK color model. Okay, it will have 4 plates. It will have a cyan plate, a magenta plate, a yellow plate, and a black plate on a press, and that's how this is achieved, those 4 colors combined. The inks are kind of translucent. They're a little bit transparent. They're not totally transparent, of course, and so they'll mix very well on a piece of paper, and we can achieve a really good range of full color simulation for print using this. We can't use light to print with, and we can't use ink on a monitor. So the RGB model is what gets used on all electronic devices: TV, monitor, your phone, your watch, tablets, anything like that, laptops, alarm clock, whatever. Okay, they all have your car display in your car. It's all RGB color model thing. Okay, this is red, green, and blue. And the hexadecimal color system is used for this because RGB color, each of these separate colors, red is set up with 8 bits. That gives us 256 options. Okay, 0 to 255 is what you have on this, and we looked at that last week when we did a byte. Okay, in base 2. Okay, so red gets 8 bits of color. That's 256 colors. okay? And it gets represented quicker with base 16, and so we don't have to write out as many numbers to indicate what color we want. And so we use 2 digits. This is the 1. This will go up to 16. How many 16s do you have? And then how many 56, counting 0 will be 256. How many of those, how many of these do you have? Okay? So, we want to look at this and say 2 numbers, okay? But it could be anything from here, from these, okay? So this is how many. This is a much bigger number right here, okay, than this is, and you've got 16 times 16 for this. Okay, so you're dealing with a much larger number right here. Okay, I got a 0 here and a 6 and a 1 and a 6 and a 5 and a 2. 256 possible options right here, and then 16 for right here. Okay, but this is ones, and this is how many 16s do you have? Okay, so this is a much bigger indicator. On binary, I mean, you got 1s, 2s, 4s. It takes a while to get up to anything pretty good size. Okay, this is a much quicker way to notate what kind of RGB color you're going to have. You won't need to know necessarily all of this. Okay, but I am going to kind of think. I'm going to kind of look for you to know this that it takes this to make hexadecimal color, and that 6 of the digits are done with letters. Is that okay? Okay. So if I'm looking at RGB, a number like this is always set up to be like this. This can be, it would be written in a hex number with two digits, 2 digits, and 2 digits. This is the blue, this is the green, and these are the red. Okay. So if you have a number like this, that's the highest possible, the strongest light, the most light coming out, okay? What color would this make, you think? F, 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 F. It makes a white pixel, like the background up here. Everything is completely on, okay? That's called white light. It's like sunlight. Sunlight, when you break it with a prism, has all the colors in it. It's considered white light. Okay? If you come in and you, I should use my trusty towel. Okay? And everything is a 0. Everything is turned off. Okay? Then what color would you have?
Black.
It's solid black. In fact, it's really not even black, it's just no light at all. Okay, so the colors in these shadows, or this border right here, or down in this edge, it's almost like looking, if you're looking at your monitor, it's almost like looking at a hole through your monitor, because there's no light there. It's not coming on. The piece of glass, you can see right through it. You can't see anything back there because there's nothing back there. There's no light to be able to see it with. Okay, but that's almost like a hole through your monitor that you're just looking through. There's nothing there. You can see right through the glass, theoretically, okay? You can see the pixels up here if you come up and look at this. You can see the squares if you look closely at this. It doesn't take much. You can see them, okay? But if you look real close at a white pixel, you can kind of imagine seeing little red, green, and blue stripes, vertical stripes on those pixels, and you can see them. I think, did I show you an enlargement of a pixel the first week? Did I show that? Okay, you can look that up. It's that's what pixels look like enlarged. Oh my gosh, that's what they look like. red, green, and blue, little stripes all together. That's one full pixel right there. Okay? So that's what you're getting with this. If you have a color that's like this, like you've got maybe 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, what's that going to be? If all the numbers are the same, it's always a shade of gray, just neutral gray, no matter what. If it's a low number like 1, 2, 3, or 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, or even if you do something like this, you do this, 2B, 2B, 2B. That chunk is together, that chunk is together, that chunk is together. That's a gray. That's a real dark gray. It's going to kind of be down on this end. Probably can't even tell that from black almost. Okay? If it's a higher number, it's going to be a real light gray. Okay? So that you need to know. I think that's a good thing to know. One of the things I'll probably ask, okay, I can just about guarantee this. One of the things I'll probably ask on the test is going to be, what's the dominant color of this? What color would dominate this? It would be the red. Okay, because it's by far the highest digit of any of the other colors. Okay, it's on the F end of the scale. This is 3. The green is going to be down on the 3 end. The 5. The blue is going to be down on the 5 end. Red will dominate this color. Okay, so I'll probably ask you that on a test. Okay, so you just have to know this little setup right here and what sequence these 3 go in. Okay, you have to know that 2 are for red, 2 are for green, 2 are for blue, and you have to know that, you know, which order it goes in. Don't get it backwards. Don't blue, green, red or something, because you'll get it wrong. Okay, most of you'll get it. You'll get it. It won't be hard. RGB. Okay, and every electronic device uses RGB. Yep.
So when I was doing the RGB discussion post, it would give me in 3 digits, like 255, 255.
Yeah, that's a decimal form of the number. That's a decimal form of that. I want to show you that. Okay, so what we're going to do right now, and what we do, unless you want to do this for homework, okay, which is fine. Okay, I've got a logo here, Red Lobster logo. Okay, I am going to check what color of red that is, what exact RGB color of red that is, using Photoshop. So you should be able to get onto Photoshop in here and do this with me. Okay, so pick a logo, pick a logo from a company, you know, that you know, and go to the internet and put it in the search bar and get an image for it. Right click on the image and copy it. And then open Photoshop and do File New in Photoshop and just paste it in there. Okay? File New right here. Okay? Now, I did send out an announcement before class, shortly before class, okay, maybe an hour before class or so, about, I sent every one of your emails in. I just got an email yesterday. I sent everybody's email in to whoever it goes to, the form. They had a form to just submit. I couldn't tell who it went to. I don't know if it goes to Adobe or GGC or who, probably GGC. And then they probably handle that with Adobe. But you should get, I believe, probably, this is what the email said to me, probably going to get either a link back or a code back in order to get into the Creative Cloud and download it at home. Does that make sense? Because I know everybody's had some trouble. Anybody that's tried to do it has had trouble, as far as I know. Has anybody been able to download it and install it home, or tried to yet? Did it actually work?
It did, but I didn't get Photoshop. It's still you have to buy Photoshop.
Yeah, you don't want to have to do that. Photoshop's like our core thing to start with, so we don't want to do that, okay? But you should be, watch it's your GGC email, it's not your personal email, okay? Yes. It's your GGC email, so just watch that. You should get a link back or a code back or something that tells you, hey, here's what you need to, I hope, get this taken care of, okay? because we don't want to just have to work in here all the time. We're pretty limited here, so hopefully that'll work pretty well. Okay. But what I'm going to do now, with this in here, and I'll come around and help, and then I do want to get on to our next stuff. Okay, we won't spend too long on it, and make sure my video is still working. And I hope I can get this off. I always have trouble. I've got an iPhone, but then I've got a PC, a Windows machine at home. And I am not all in on the iPhone, on the Mac, Apple ecosystem, and it is a bear to pull things off of there sometimes. So we'll see how that goes. I hope I can get it and that it'll work. Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and find out what color red this is. Okay. So I'm getting this is Photoshop. It's found, of course, under the Start menu, but it's usually under the A's because Adobe prefixes everything with Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, and all that kind of stuff. Okay. So Adobe Photoshop. This is the toolbar. Okay, or the toolbox. There is a thing called an eyedropper tool on here. I'm going to click that. Okay. And first I'm going to click on the blue because I want you to see this color change. I did the Cookout logo Thursday. I don't know if you've ever been to Cookout's little restaurant. It's cool. They have a lot of milkshakes. So that's that red right there. So I'm going to switch it to blue so you can see this change right here. Okay. And I'm going to find out what color that is. Now, if I double click that little color box right there, that takes me into what's called the color picker. That's this thing, okay? And that tells me that's where that color is located on this big, huge color spectrum. That is the RGB color spectrum, according to Photoshop, okay? So you can pick any color you want on this bar to the right, and then you can choose any shade of it, dark or light, or intense or dull, on here that you want to, okay? And it'll put it in there. And then you click OK, and that's what shows up then in your color picker, and that's what your paintbrush will paint with, if you use it, okay? So I'm going to do it again. There's the eyedropper. I'm doing it on the red this time. I like red. That's my red. These are the different color model systems and numbering systems that are used to indicate this same color. Okay? Right down here where it's highlighted in blue, that is this number right here. RGB hexadecimal number. Right down there in blue at the bottom of that box, right there. Okay? This one happens to be EE333. Is there 3 threes? Wow, I just wanted to read. EE333E. So again, you can see EE is by far it doesn't matter if you use upper or lowercase. Uh-oh, messed up. EE333E. Again, you can see red is the dominant color. Red is by far the highest color on this number scale, the base 16 number scale, of any of the other two numbers, of any of the three numbers. Okay, by far, red is the dominant color. Okay, Cookout has, well, I don't know, I can't remember what it was. So that's what I'm looking for. I want to check that off. So what I want you to do is post a picture of your logo, just paste it in the discussion board. There's one right here. RGB logo colors, just put it in here, okay? And I'll tell you what, there's a bunch from the other class, the Thursday class, the Thursday group. Hang on a second. Don't quite do it yet. Let me make a Tuesday and a Thursday. Is that okay? It doesn't really matter though, does it? Because we're all in one class. Let's just keep it all in one class. Okay? Just post them in there. And that'll be fine. RGB logo colors. What I want, two things I want. I want the logo and I want the hexadecimal number. That's the hex number. This person also put the decimal number like you were talking about, okay? That's what that is right there. And it's here in Photoshop. It's right, that's it right there, RGB, those three numbers right there. Okay, now here's the CMYK version of it. Okay, and then there's two other color models on here, HSB, which is hue, saturation, and brightness. I never do anything with that. And lab, LAB, luminance, and then there's an A and a B. I don't know too much about that. I don't use it. Okay.
Wait, so we're putting the number that's with R?
Where it says where it says the hash mark,
Oh, okay.
that's the RGB number. That's the hexadecimal. I want the hexadecimal base 16 number. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. So I'm just trying to make you work with the base 16 number a little bit in something practical for digital media. Okay, that's all it is. Okay. So that's kind of what we did Thursday. And we did cover some other stuff, and I had some review too. Okay. So, everybody okay? Take pictures, whatever you want to do. And then I'm going to kind of move on with it. Okay. All right, so now let me show you this. Let me show you the blue. I just want you to see this. In this case, the number is 00. There is no red. 6289. So this has a lot of green in it, but blue is the dominant color. Okay, you can tell that based on the hex number. Okay, and that's almost always going to be the case. Okay. All right. Next thing. I've got a few documents up on D2L. Let me find them. There, I got a new module, raster imaging. This is going to be a pretty big module, okay? I know that we're going to, our semester is slightly shorter than normal, so we might speed this up just a bit. This is the longest module, the raster imaging module, okay? And I usually do 2 or 3 projects with this. But there's some documents here that you can look at. I'm gonna do this with you, starting from the bottom on here. Okay, there's a document in here that looks like this, and one thing that we have to deal with in digital media is compression. Okay, and our files are pretty big. That's a lot of data. When you store an image like this as a raster, and it's just a raw image, okay, like even just a JPEG coming off your phone or some other format, okay. Actually, JPEG is probably not stored this way, but a Photoshop image, okay, or there's another format called a TIFF. Some of those formats get really large memory-wise. And what this is doing is taking it pixel by pixel by pixel across the row and storing that. What color is that pixel? What color is that next pixel? The next pixel, the next pixel. And drop down a row, do the next row. That's a lot of memory. Okay. Same thing with sound. When you have a song or a piece of music, okay, or a voice, and you capture that is a lot of data. CD, we talked about last week, CD quality sound is captured at about 44,000 samples per second. That is an immense amount of data, okay? And how do you save that? And it's saved, of course, with bits in the bytes of data, okay? The sounds. But it's a lot of data to have to store. Okay, so compression is something that we work with in digital media. Images, movies, music, other things, okay? And even programs are compressed, okay? What we're doing is trying to figure out how to take out excess data and still retain as close to the original as we can. So I'm going to erase some of this stuff. Is that okay? Everybody okay with that? So what we want to do, there's some basic laws about compression and data, dealing with this. And some sort of rules about the way things work, okay? And what happens is all that data, everybody wants the quality, but nobody wants the file size, the giantness of the file size, okay? Typically. Everybody wants to cram as many, our phones nowadays are more capable. The storage is more capable than it used to be, right? So, but everybody used to want to get as many pictures as possible, but at good a quality as possible. Okay, so if you have high resolution, and resolution can be multiple things. It could be how many audio steps do you have in a given sample? I mean, do you have a possible scale of 300 steps, or is it a possible scale of 100 steps? If it's 300, it's immensely amount more data, okay, because there's a lot more steps, a lot more possibilities that it could be mapped to, that particular sample could be mapped to. Same thing with color, same thing with pixels. How many pixels per inch do you have? Okay, how many samples do you take per second? 44,100, that's the CD. Okay, so high resolution or high quality, we might say, just in general, okay, equals high memory usage. Okay, and vice versa. So this is always the trade-off. Low quality equals low storage. Low memory usage. Okay? So this is always the trade-off. And the better compression schemes, okay, and I'll tell you what a few of them are. The better compression schemes give you as much of this. No, I'm sorry. I'm just testing you, see if you catch me. They give you as much of this for as much of for more of that as possible. Okay, so PNG is a pretty good one. PNG is a pretty good one. That's for the web. That's an image format for the web. JPEG isn't too bad. Okay, JPEG's not too bad. This gives you the ability to scale it usually. When you save it in Photoshop, if you save to a JPEG, you usually have a scale of up to 100% maximum quality if you want it. And it's going to take more memory. Okay? And it just slides on that scale where you put it. 0% to 100%. If you pick 0%, it's going to be low quality, but it's also going to be a really low storage need. Okay? Ping's pretty good though. Ping is newer, and it's a good quality, and I think it supports transparency, which is a see-through background. Okay, JPEG doesn't support a see-through background. If you have an image that has transparency and you're expecting to be able to see through it, like on a web page or something, and you save it as a JPEG, the JPEG is going to automatically put a white background in there, and you won't be able to see through that. Okay. All right, MP4 is a pretty good video storage format. It's pretty common. I think probably one of the better quality to storage ones, and so is MP3 for music. Okay, they may not be the best, but they're pretty good. In images, Photoshop and a TIFF image format, okay? This would be Photoshop document, PSD, and a TIFF. That's a tagged image file format. Okay, these two are high quality, big fat memories need. Okay, big memory storage space. Okay, so these are on the top end of quality and memory, and then it moves from there. Now, what I want you to do, one thing, the next assignment that I got is for you to find an image. Okay, now we're getting ready to do a YouTube project, YouTube thumbnail project. That's our first big project. Okay, so I want to set something up to kind of prep that a little bit. Okay, and make sure I'm doing the right thing. I got a few files I want to. Okay, that's fine, that's fine. Okay, I'm gonna go to this document right here. We just had okay. This is a Word document with a table, okay? And what I'm looking for is for you to save, I want to explain this first, and then I'll tell you how to tie this in with your YouTube project, okay? This has got nine cells in it, 9 table cells, okay? I want you to save the same image, okay, in original, like what you bring in from the internet. Go ahead and save it as a PSD first, Photoshop file first. That'll be your best quality, okay? And then I want you to save it as a TIFF, and that's your next best, or that actually is probably just as good as a Photoshop, okay? And then begin to save in some of these compressed forms. I want you to keep it as a Photoshop file, the original, but I want you to do a save as or an export in order to save into these different formats. What I want you to fill this up with are copies pasted in here or placed in here, however you can get them in the Word document, okay? And tell me what the file size is underneath them, how many megabytes it is, okay? This one's looking like 10.3 megabytes, okay? That's a pretty big file. So it's pretty good resolution, I guess. I can't remember how I did that, but anyhow. Okay, so then the next thing I want you to tell me, is give me one pro and one con for those formats. Okay, for each format, one pro and one con. Okay, for each format. And I've got some documents to help you with this on D2L. They're right here. This right here, how to, using Photoshop to save various formats. It's a how-to document, okay? And this thing will tell you how to save. It gives you a couple of screenshot views into Photoshop, the Photoshop interface, okay? And it kind of walks you through, under the file menu, how to save these things into different formats, okay? So we've got some grayscale and duotone, and then I've got, those are the most complex, okay? We'll talk about that. We may spread this out over a meeting or two. See, I can get this done in a week if I had you Tuesday, Thursday. I won't see you guys again until next Tuesday. So we'll see how that goes, okay? Let's try to get it all crammed in, we'll see. And then on down the next page, there's quite a few formats here that you can output to, okay? And it tells you what command to use. So in Photoshop, if I was going to output this, save as, okay, and this tells me, in order to save this as a TIFF, okay, a copy as a TIFF, I'm going to have to do File, Save As, and I can choose right here. Now, I do want you to see this. When you do a Save As, what that's going to do is save a copy. And it's going to save it with a different file extension, okay? The first one you want to do is Photoshop, a Photoshop file, okay? And that's going to be at the very top. Of course, when you pull it in from the internet, it's going to initially start out as a JPEG or a PNG or something, or a GIF. It'll be one of those three probably. Okay. Sometimes I've seen a lot of image files lately that have this extension, JFIF. That's just some specialty sort of JPEG file. Just put .jpg. Don't even mess with that. Just put just assume that it's a JPEG. Okay. But the first one you save, let's go ahead and save it as a Photoshop file right here. It's the top one, .psd. That's going to be a high, nice quality image. It'll make it won't make your JPEG or your PNG or whatever you pick from the internet. any better, but it ain't gonna mess anything up either, okay? So if you get the first one as a Photoshop file, then look at all these other things you can save as, okay? A lot of other things you can save as. JPEG, IFF, I don't even know what that is. Photoshop, different types of Photoshop files. DICOM, I don't even know what that is. CompuServe GIF, that's really quite old. BMP is a Microsoft bitmap. It stands for bitmap. It's a Microsoft format that was made to, I guess, go with the original Internet Explorer browser when they first came out with that. They kind of came out behind Firefox, Netscape Navigator when browsers first started coming out, and they wanted to show themselves worthy, so they came up with their own image format, I guess. There's some others. There's several JPEG types. PCX, not even sure what that is really. Pixar, PNG is a popular one. Cytex, Target, TIFF. The top and the bottom are, as far as I know and as far as I use, the best ones. And it just happens to work that way. Okay? So this little document right here does tell you, though, there's two ways to get to these. Okay, that's quite a list of things right there. But you can also do some saving when you do export. Export as a PNG. You can go to this document, this panel, and choose some different formats right there. Those are all web. Those are really the 4 web formats. Okay. There's really only, well, I take that back. There's 3 main web formats for images that are raster based. Rasters are pixels. Okay. You have an image of something, and it's broken up by pixels. Okay. That's a raster image. A JPEG, a GIF, GIF, I call it a GIF. A lot of people call it a GIF. I never got used to that. And a PNG, PNG. Those are all raster formats, pixel-based formats. Raster, pixel, and bitmap all mean the same thing. They're all pixel-based, little squares of color. Okay? So these are the 3 main raster-based web formats. That one on the bottom, SVG, let's talk about that another week. Okay? Next week. Or maybe I'll do it Thursday if you watched it. Okay? Or it's on the document too. It talks about it on the document. Right? Oh, you know what? Maybe I left it off because it's a tough one. I might have left it off because it's a tough one. I might have it on another one of these documents. I might have put an older one up. I'll check on it. Anyhow, SVG is different. We'll talk about that later. Okay? All right, so that's what I'm looking for with this. And now here's the thing. That's going to, you're going to save all these formats. There's 9 of them altogether. If you run into one that you can't figure out how to do, like a duotone or something, don't worry too much about that. We'll do that another time. Okay? And we'll work on that. Okay? Same thing with the SVG. If you have trouble with that, we'll work on that. Same thing with the grayscale. It's a different color model. We'll work on that too. But the ones that are pretty basically these right here, including the .gif, those I think you could probably go ahead and get. Okay, and I'm just going to make a Dropbox that you can put this into, and we'll call it a day when we get that done. Okay, it might take more than one day to do this because I'll have to explain a few things. Okay, make sure everybody's okay with it. But when you get these, they should all have the same name. The only thing that should be different is the extension. And that is part of the name. So they'll all be different named files. Okay? And you'll have a list of them. Ultimately, hopefully you'll have 9 of them. Okay? And They'll all have different sizes, memory sizes, but they'll be the same image, different versions of the same image. And you can put them all into these word these word table cells, okay? Right there, and then you can tell me about them. And you can get the this here where I want the pro and the con. You can get that from you can get that from here. You can get a lot of that from here, okay? Because it's in here. Grayscale, do it. You can get some of the pros and cons about it here. These things, this one right here. That's terrible. This one right here, here, and here. One of the biggest pros about these is they work on the web. They're very distributable. Okay, they're very universal. This is proprietary. Its biggest pro is it's a really good quality. This is not what's called non-proprietary. It's open. It's kind of an open source file format. Anybody can use it. Any program can make this. If you invent your own image graphics program, you can make TIFFs. You can't make PSDs, but you can make TIFFs. This is open, and it's high quality. That's kind of a double positive on that. Okay. That's a few quick things about pros and cons about this. Okay, a GIF is a very, and you'll see, you may see this. I think this is on the sheet here. This is limited in the amount of colors it can produce. Okay, it's very limited. So the compression on this is pretty high compression, and actually there are some things to talk about with this kind of time. Okay, I think we're okay. As far as compression schemes go, okay, Photoshop and TIFF are the smallest amounts of compression, and they result in a high quality image, but it's a high memory usage. Okay, PNG and JPEG have a fair amount of compression, so they get that storage size down, quality goes down. Okay, but they're still pretty good. They're still really pretty good. Okay. The GIF is the one that really goes down, and it's a low quality, I think. Okay, but it's a low storage. Okay, the thing about this is something that's odd. Okay, just because it has a lot of compression or a little compression, there's another. I'm gonna have to really explain this. I think there's another factor that people consider when they talk about, and frankly, I don't really care about it that much. But there are people that consider this. Is it a lossy or a lossless compression scheme? Is it lossy or lossless? Okay, does it lose data as it compresses? Or does it account for all the data as it compresses? Okay. Now that is, I don't really care because I don't think this, and I'm going to tell you why in just a second, I don't think this really matters, okay, too much. What matters to me, we know we need compression, okay? What matters to me is what's the fidelity of the compression scheme? Is it a really good quality match of colors, okay? GIF is considered a lossless compression scheme because it will account for every color, every pixel, every color, okay? But it forces it into one of 256 colors. That means that yes, it does account for every color, but it also is going to force colors to be, like if you've got a nice, beautiful shade of in-between green, and that in-between shade of green is not one of the 256 colors, it will force it one way or the other, darker or lighter. It accounts for the color. It accounts for everything, but not very well. Okay? Lossy, JPEG and PNG are lossy. I think a PNG is lossy, but I know a JPEG is lossy. Okay, but a JPEG, and even though it loses some data, it may not account for every single little color. The colors that it does account for, it does a better job of. okay? I personally am probably not, I might ask you one question or two about this, but it's just gonna be about what format is what. I really don't care too much about this, okay? But I have to tell you about it. Lossy means it loses data. Loses data. And lossless means it doesn't lose data. Okay? And that's how that is. Doesn't necessarily mean that it accounts for it very well, but it loses data. Photoshop still loses data. It's not live light, okay? So does a TIFF. There's some compression in here, but it's a lot less. Okay? Okay, so that's it. Let's talk about the project that we're going to do, because that's the fun thing. Okay? You got YouTube. It's going to be I want to do a series of 3 YouTube channel thumbnails. So you need to make. I want you to create your own channel. You may already have one. Okay? Does anybody have a YouTube channel? Okay. Okay, so you can use the one that you have, but I want 3 new images for 3 new episodes on your channel. Okay? So you think of something that maybe goes with your business, or a business you want to start, or a hobby you have, or somebody in your family wants something, or some travels that you have made and you want to do a travel channel, okay? Or you like adventures and you go kayaking and all kinds of stuff in the mountains, and you can make an adventure channel. Okay, I've had all kinds of stuff. So it's a channel, okay? We're going to make still images that are the still shots that show the YouTube episode when people are perusing through YouTube and deciding which video to click on to watch. That's what it's about. There's going to be certain parameters for it, okay? It's got to have a title. I mean, your channel has to have a title. Your channel really kind of needs sort of a logo title, okay? So we're going to learn how to do text in Photoshop, okay? This is Kilimanjaro, not Kilimanjaro in Africa. So mine's going to be about Kilimanjaro, okay? I have a travel channel. It's called Planet Patrol. I don't really have one. It's the one I use for this class. And I'm going to do one about Kilimanjaro this time. Last time I did, I think, Victoria Falls. Anyhow, so you pick what you want to do. Something that's fun for you, that's cool. Okay? You need a title for your channel. You also need episode titles, 3. Okay? You can't. You have to tell me, what your episodes are. So if you've got an adventure channel, maybe one's about kayaking on I don't know, the Nantahala, and then one's about hang gliding off of Mount Mitchell in North Carolina. I don't know what. Okay, maybe one's about rock climbing. I don't know where. Okay, in Tallulah Gorge. Okay, something like that. I hope you don't do that. That's pretty dangerous, actually. That's a big one. Okay, so. Might be kind of fun, I guess. But okay, so that's what I'm looking at for the first project. Okay, and there's 3 of them. We'll learn about Photoshop layers. We don't have multiple layers on a file. Okay, I want just to demonstrate layers. I'm gonna put something on here, and here's a layer. Here's my layers panel. Okay, I'm going to add a new layer, and I'm going to paint across here. It's not even, it doesn't look like it's at 100%. I guess oh no, it's not. It's at 80%. Okay, so there we go. Okay, now that's on a separate layer. See, that's a big deal about Photoshop. I can move that around on here. So we'll talk about that, we'll work with that, we won't do that right now. But that's what we're going to that's some of the kind of thing we're going to work with Photoshop, okay? Needs to be 3 episodes of a channel. Let me see if I can find one of mine that I did. You're going to do better ones than me. There we go. Okay, so see, I got a title, you know, slogan, my episode here, Victoria Falls, my title, it's just like a travel channel. And you'll need the YouTube logo. You're gonna need something in the foreground. Here's a person looking at Victoria Falls in the background, okay? So you'll need some parts. You'll need some pictures. So be thinking between now and next Tuesday, maybe go ahead and get some pictures that you can use, okay? Especially get the backgrounds. Begin to get the backgrounds. Yep,
Did you say next Thursday?
next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday?
Well, you're not here Thursday, right?
Right.
So that's what I'm talking about. But, you know, I mean, I guess I could go ahead and assign it and say, hey, show me your 3 pictures, okay, for your 3 episodes. I could do that. You want me to do that? By this week? Let's just do it by Tuesday. Let's just say, have your pictures by next Tuesday.
So there'll be 3 pictures each?
Well, I need 3 pictures, 1 for each of your episodes, okay? And I'm gonna need something to go in the foreground. See this guy? He's in the foreground. You need something in the foreground. So I've had all kinds of things. I had somebody do a cooking channel, and they were making things, and they put a big spoon in the foreground, or a big fork, or a big egg beater, or something in the foreground, okay? So that worked out fine. That was great. I had somebody else did a bunch of cosmetology stuff. I don't know, they were doing different things, hair and stuff. They put a big hairbrush in the foreground, and that worked out fine too. Okay, so that's fine. Yep.
Is there a requirement for the video itself?
There is no video. We're not making videos for this. We'll do a video project though. We will do a video project, okay? But right now, I'm going to concentrate just on these images because we've got to work through this raster-based module, and we've got to do how to use Photoshop a little bit. Okay, so we're going to work with layers. We're going to work with the color picker. We'll work with making selections. We'll work with text. We'll work with colors, how to pick the colors and stuff. And I will say, when we do get to the Adobe Premiere, it's got a text tool. It's got some tools. It's got some color tools and things like that that harken back to what we're doing here. And they're both Adobe programs, so they'll relate a little bit, a fair amount, okay? And we will make a video, so you can be thinking about it. If you want to do video, in fact, that would be a good idea to do video for our channel video for a Premiere project, or Adobe Premiere video project. That would be kind of a good idea. Haven't done that before, but that would be a good idea. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for that. You'll need the YouTube logo. Okay, so I think I covered everything on that. Let me. I do want to show you this, and you can be looking at this. This is a good thing to go ahead and look at. Okay, I know you got other stuff, but I also know that we don't meet in here, you know, twice a week like normal. You guys are only getting an hour and 15 minutes once a week in here, okay? So use these documents that are up here. I've got this, and this is a kind of a large document. It's not huge, really. You might have to enlarge this to really, and then kind of scroll around it to see it. This is the Photoshop interface. Okay, so I've got the menu items up here, and I've got specific things that we use, that we're going to use kind of labeled on here, okay? It's got, this is on D2L. You can find it. There's the color picker. It's right there. You click it, bam, it opens up. It's got the RGB hexadecimal number right there, okay? Just like we looked at it. This is the toolbox. The tools are named. We're going to use certain ones of those tools more than others for sure, okay? We'll talk about that. We'll kind of break that box down a little bit. These are some other panels. There's a text panel, like a character. You can choose all your fonts from there, okay? The biggest one we'll use is the layers panel. That's the most common one that we'll use, okay? And then the menus are kind of labeled to try to help you a little bit with kind of working your way around in the interface, okay? But maybe that'll help. I think that's actually a pretty decent breakdown of things that we're going to use in here, okay? I had one other document I do want to show you of these things. that is this one. So if you want to play around with something, okay, or you want to learn about these things, and you can wait, you know, I'll work with you. But I have done this before as an assignment. I think we're going to run out of time. I can't pile on too many things. I do want to do that format thing because that's kind of formal and objective. Okay, and then we've got our project that's kind of gives you something that hopefully you like to do. Okay, but this is sort of a activity that I've done before, where you just pick a file, save it, and then do these things to it in Photoshop. And this is sort of an initializer to get us going with Photoshop. I don't think we'll have time to do it, but I am going to put a big, I'm going to make a very big plug here. I'm going to sort of do an advertisement for LinkedIn Learning. Okay, you have access to, I think, to LinkedIn Learning. You should. Okay, I'm going to scroll up here under the More tab. Okay, at the top, you have a thing called LinkedIn Learning, and if you're logged in, it's going to open. If you do this at home prior to logging in to GGC, it's probably going to ask you to log in. Okay, if you live in Gwinnett County and you have like you've got a registration or a Gwinnett County library card or an account, you can use that to get logged in. If you have, for those who are in the Gwinnett County public school system, this is free. I think LinkedIn Learning, I think it's free. LinkedIn Learning used to be lynda.com, and it's always been a video tutorial company, and they have thousands of videos on there. Okay, I like them because they're usually done in short segments, like 3 or 4 minutes, and they'll teach you some little facet of something. So I like it. I'm going to show you one just to kind of get you just a little introduction to this. Okay, 2020 Photoshop Essentials. I'm going to search that. And there it is. Photoshop 2020 Essential Training, the basics. Okay, this right here is probably your best bet if you want video. Hello, be quiet. So this is other than any videos that I might put up, which I did put some up last spring, and when I didn't start them for Photoshop. We didn't start until we got to Illustrator. Okay, so I might try to put some up, but in the meantime, you know, if you want to find out about Photoshop, how to use a certain tool, or maybe I certainly am not going to put up a Photoshop video on D2L about every tool on the, you know, in Photoshop, and neither will this probably. Okay, but there'll be more on here. Okay, so this is the table of contents for this. Okay, and if you just want to go through here and you can start, you know, at the top, but there's a lot of them. And let's say, like, understanding file formats. There's one that's 8 minutes and 4 seconds. Okay, that's not real long. Okay, there's many others. Using the crop tool. Okay, here's a bunch of stuff about exploring layer basics, and we're going to work with layers. How to use the brush essentials. Okay, so there's a lot of. Let me look at that. That's 11 minutes. That is kind of longer, but it's still pretty short. Okay, here's 6 minutes, 4 minutes. Making selections. Using the marquee and lasso tools. So that's a combination of 2 tools there. It's 8.5 minutes almost. Okay, combining selections, 5 minutes. Making selections based on subject, 3 minutes. So this is really handy if you want to learn this stuff. I know you're not majoring in this. Okay, I know you got a lot of other stuff to do, but that's a really, really good resource. Okay, and I'm telling you about it because LinkedIn Learning. If you I don't know what, you know, I know you're majoring in all kinds of stuff: healthcare, accounting, business, marketing, film. I know there's all kinds of things, okay? Some of y'all may be in education major, you're gonna be a teacher or something. Okay, there's a lot of topics in LinkedIn Learning, okay? And if you wanna learn Excel, really, really good at Excel, or you wanna get really good at some tax, software, okay, you're in accounting or something, and you love that. I don't know how people could love that, but if you love that, then maybe you wanna look something like that up. I don't know, what a big tax program would be, TurboTax or something, okay? QuickBooks, something like that, if you wanna get better at that, okay? If you are a software developer, this is it, man, this is a great thing, okay? Java, all kinds of good stuff on here, okay? So that's just a big plug for this. I do an advertisement for it every semester, and I think it's a very good way to learn, okay? If you like film, I'm sure there's good stuff about how to do film on here. Different programs, Premiere and others, okay? Blender, 3D modeling, free open source 3D modeling tool. You can download it at home and use it. There's definitely Blender tutorials on here. I've done them before, okay? So that's just a big advertisement. Anybody got a question or want me to look at anything? Anything? Okay, I don't mind coming around. Yep, okay, so I'm gonna do that. If you're ready to go, you can go. I know, I think you can't say I didn't let y'all early, it's 3 minutes. Okay? Y'all have a good week, rest of the week. What you got? Okay, so just paste them in there. Okay, so have you come and stayed somewhere? Oh, you won't be able to put them into here. Okay, I do that usually. I don't do that. So you won't be able to put them into that one. You'll have to download that file, that Word document. Go ahead and download that and save it. Okay? And then whatever you want to do, when you get your image, when you start saving it into the different formats.
So our images go in, not this image.
No, not that image. Your new, like if you take a picture of a maple tree with red leaves, okay, then that's the one you're going to use. Okay. And that's the you'll populate those cells with that.
And this is not related to the project.
No, not really. This is just I gotta cover some. You know, I was mentioning at the beginning of class that the basic intro general technology stuff. There is some of it that applies to all the media, but they're still easier to teach. I think those concepts like compression are easier to teach in connection with some little piece of project or something. I think when you actually see, oh, that one's 10,000 bytes smaller than the other one when you compress it, and I think that's good to see. Okay, so that's all. That's why I did that little as like an assignment.
Yes.
What you got? No, you're fine. I think did I send you anything back for it? I might not have. I think I might have sent you an email. I can't remember. Okay, but I seen it. Okay, and it'll go in. It'll go in. Yep. No, you're fine. If you've got it in there, you'll be fine. I think I do remember yours. I think I sent you an email back. Tabby, is that right? Miguel, okay. I may not have, but I'll look at it and check it. Okay? Yep.
So the binary work from last week?
Say what?
The binary.
The welcome thing?
Yeah.
If you've got that in there, it'll go in.
I don't have it, just register for class, like.
Yeah, we did a welcome, greetings, some kind of term like the hello, and then your name in binary. That's what we did. Okay, so you might look that up and to see, how to convert binary to what we want to do is it's ASCII numbers. Watch last week's video.
Okay.
Let me show you this.
It's on the
It's on D2L. I'll show you right up here.
Okay.
It's on D2L. The recorded sessions are going to be
Contents.
contents, and then there's a Blackboard Collaborate module there, and it's here. You click on that link, and when that opens, and you open it, I think I'm recording right now, but it'll be right here. It'll be listed
So right
in
there?
here.
Okay.
Okay, you can get to it. I'm recording right now, so I don't think it's gonna let me
Alright,
get out of that, okay? But it is available. It's off of one of these menus on here.
okay,
Okay, recorded sessions is by the date.
alright,
Be by the date, okay?
okay,
I'll see you
thank you.
next week. Yep.
Two.
Yes, sir. Okay, guys, I'm gonna pop off of here. I did video this. Okay, so what I did, guys, was, for those of you that are on the Blackboard Collaborate, I videoed it with my phone. Okay, the whole thing over here on the side. So I'm gonna try to pull that off and post that up. That'll be a pretty big file probably, but I'm gonna try to post that up if I can, if it's reasonable to do it, okay? And that'll be a lot easier to see what's going on. It shows the screen, the projection screen, the whiteboard, and me, and hopefully that'll help, okay? Anybody got a question? All right, okay, and I will do some review. I'll do some review every day. We'll do some review. It won't be as extensive, but it'll be review, and then you'll get the new stuff. Okay, we'll do more about, we'll definitely talk about compression, and we'll go more into this YouTube project and the file format project. I'll probably do how to save into the grayscale format and the duotone format and the SVG format, and we'll look at those, because we didn't look at those today. We just didn't have time, okay? All right, I will see you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this, and then I'm gonna cut my other one, okay?